Welcome to the Colorado A-List. We're building a thriving business community based on generous leadership and authentic connections. I'm your host, Matt Brower, and today's episode is brought to you by Column Commercial Partners. Column Commercial Partners is a Colorado-based real estate company exclusively advocating for the tenant and buyer side of the table. If your company has real estate needs coming up, you can find them at www.columncommercial.com. Hey guys, Matt here. Our guest today is a well-known figure in Colorado. He's part of a family of Colorado business owners going back 5 generations. As owner and director of Monfort companies, he invests in ventures and develops commercial properties that serve as economic drivers and growth engines for both rural and urban communities. On top of that, he's also very philanthropic with his involvement in Denver Active 2030 and several other causes that we'll hear about today. I'm really stoked to have you on the show. Welcome, Kenny Monfort.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's dive in with, I know that over the last couple of years, you have been acquiring or have acquired, a few of the well-known bars in Lodo's and a couple others. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the driver behind that and where you're going? You're looking to expand that portfolio?
Yeah. We can, we'll dive into the background, kind of how I got into it a little bit later, but the idea being that, here at Monfort, we feel that Denver is ripe and ready for a world-class baseball district, something like you'd see in Atlanta with the Braves, what they've done, Chicago Cubs, what they've done around Wrigleyville. A lot of strong examples around the country of these baseball districts that really take the neighborhood from an 81-day-a-year activation, which there's 81 home baseball games in the Major League Baseball, to a 365-day-a-year environment. You do that by bringing in best-in-class retail. There's quite a bit of housing there, but the folks that do live there work elsewhere, work in CBD, Central Business District, Uptown, Highland, or
Lower Highlands,
and then also DCC. So they're not there all day long. They don't, it is from time to time an entertainment district, and that's what it was concepted to be when Coors Field was built, and that's what it should be going forward. But a lot of that's been lost to these new neighborhoods that have popped up. So I think, revitalizing historic buildings that are there. The neighborhood's prominently historic. A lot of parking lots there, and then just some underserviced, underused buildings that could use some attention, use some alignment by local developers such as ourselves to buy, upgrade, graduate, and bring it into what the potential is.
Wow. So just for those, I know there's a lot of people that are moving to Colorado every year, and I would imagine a lot of our listeners are fairly new to Colorado, probably know your last name and kind of what your family's involved in, but for those that don't, your family has owned the Colorado Rockies for how many years now?
Founded the Rockies 27 years ago.
27 years, okay.
Yep, so the founding of the Colorado Rockies here in Denver was 92-ish. Coors Field took about 2 years to build, so that was 94, 95 was the first season for the Rockies at Coors Field. Prior to that, they were at Mile High Stadium, the original, prior to Invesco, now Broncos Stadium at Mile High. So they played there for a couple of years, and because of that, because the NFL stadium that they opened in, and we currently and will always have, the Rockies will always have the highest attendance record in the MLB, something like 100,000 or something.
Really? I did not know that. Wow, that's cool.
But anyways, and that's because we opened at Mile High. And so, I grew up in the cattle business, going back in Greeley, Colorado. It's about an hour north of Denver.
Yeah.
Family, going back 5 generations, we're in completely agriculture and cattle business, and my dad and his siblings, Charlie and his brother and 2 sisters, sold the Monfort beef business to a publicly traded company in the early 90s, and parlayed that into baseball here in Denver. So.
Oh my gosh! And then I moved here. When was the Rockies Stadium built? You said
Coors Field, yeah, so 94 or 95, that was
94,
the
95, okay.
first season, yep.
I moved here in 2002, and so just after, but I've just known Denver to always have, Coors Field right there. So
Yeah, well,
I didn't know what that looked like prior to that.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, really, and I think a lot of other markets that have built stadiums have adapted what we've done in Denver to plant such an economic driver as is baseball in the middle of kind of a desolate part of town, kind of a scary part of town, as the ballpark neighborhood was in the early 90s. I always tell the story that when Coors Field was built, the construction workers had a hard stop at 5 p.m., and that was because it became too dangerous.
Oh, wow.
So just to see in 27 years what Coors Field has done to that neighborhood, to bring services, bring people, bring businesses, and make it safer, activate it, it's pretty special.
Yeah, that is amazing. And what I think is really cool is that you're leading the effort to have even more of an impact with the acquisition of these bars and this real estate in the same areas to just kind of further that commitment.
Yeah, most definitely.
Wow.
The neighborhood had some early on growth, and that was largely by way of bars. Again, going back to the entertainment district idea. But for it to truly be a 365-day-a-year neighborhood, there needs to be more than just bars.
Yeah.
While we are currently focused on the real estate associated with bars, we do see that, corporate headquarters, hotels, other forms of housing, residential, for sale condos, all will be prominent components to making the neighborhood special.
Wow.
Going back, there's a lot of development off to the south side of Ballpark District and the Central Business District and Union Station up until recent. Kind of skipped over Ballpark into Rhino.
Yeah.
And that was for a variety of reasons, prominently because at one point in time, Rhino was a little less expensive. That's no longer the case now, and Rhino is pretty well built up. So it's just logical that the infill would take place in the middle of all that development, which is the Ballpark
Which
neighborhood.
is right there, which is where your playground is.
Yep.
Or where your sandbox that you're mostly playing in.
Yep.
And you talk about your co-working space real quick, and I'm trying to remember the exact cross street.
20th and Blake. It's not necessarily co-working. It's where we office out of,
Okay.
and we do have other developers and private investors in the space with us. I deem it a intentional co-working space just because we don't necessarily market it. The next best tech company is not going to come looking in our space for their office. But it is guys who are like-minded, doing stuff in the area, Denver, locally, of different areas and product types within real estate. So land, a guy that focuses on land or hotels or whatever, and we can bounce ideas off of one another. And so that's what it's useful to us for.
I see. So it's more about creating a small community where you guys can potentially partner together and
Correct.
learn from each other and bounce ideas,
Correct.
that sort of thing. Okay,
Correct.
cool.
And we named that office, the intentional co-working, we named it Rock Block with the intention that maybe one day the area would be called Rock Block. There's a tip of the hat to the Rockies there, but I think going forward really for the neighborhood to again come into its own, it's going to have to not be baseball centered. So we're floating around other ideas that we're talking about. Ballpark District, throw that out. Rock Block, throw that out. We're working with a variety of names that we think that neighborhood becomes someday.
Yeah.
That's not tied 100% to baseball. So.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a good hashtag opportunity. Hashtag Rock Block.
Yeah.
It has a ring to it.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge music lover, and you guys are able to get some incredible talent through Coors Field. Do you partner with AXS or Live Nation, or how does all that come together?
Yeah, I'll preface that with saying that I don't work directly with the Rockies.
Okay.
And so I don't know.
You're running the other businesses.
Yeah,
Okay.
just sort of outside of Coors Field, I always let people know because that's a good common assumption is that that I'm just a season ticket holder.
Right.
But the Rockies have really, and I think a lot of MLB teams around the country have found a way to further activate their real estate. In some cases, the teams own the real estate, the stadium. In the Rockies' case, the city and county of Denver own. But the Rockies have the controlling interest in the lease.
Yeah.
Again, going back to me saying that there's 81 home baseball games, and with hopeful postseasons, there's more home baseball games, but you'd like to see that space activated, as beautiful as it is, more than just 81 days a year.
Yeah.
So the Rockies have partnered with groups like Ticketmaster, AEG, and some of these guys to produce events there. It's not the easiest undertaking, but it's one of the coolest places to watch a concert.
Absolutely.
If you've been.
Or fireworks, for that matter.
Fireworks, yeah.
Seen fireworks several times there. So.
Yep.
So talk about what other things you're involved in. I know that you and I have collaborated on some kind of development project stuff in rural areas with some clients of ours. How far does that business stretch? What are you kind of working on there? What do you focus on the development side outside of Lodo?
Yeah. So I'd say outside of revitalizing and helping graduate the ballpark neighborhood, which takes probably 60 to 70% of our time and resources as far as projects go and capacity. Our other focus is retail development. So that's Colorado and surrounding states. Call it Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, Kansas, a little bit Nebraska. Retail projects, single tenant to 5 tenant style strip center projects that, gas stations, Starbucks, places like that, where really we're going into these smaller communities. The entitlement process is a lot easier than it is in Denver County.
I'll bet.
Denver. So we're going into these places, and we're gonna do two things for them really by bringing them a 7-Eleven or a Starbucks. One of them is adding sales tax to their annual budget, and the other thing is adding some jobs by bringing a tenant like that into the area. So think Newcastle, Wyoming, for example, those type of towns that are small, that are ripe, but also kind of outside of the purview of the typical retail developer.
Okay, so you guys come in and you're working with national brands to go look for and develop real estate for them in key markets or key locations.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, correct.
Are you? Are there any companies that like you can talk about? Yeah, we've done tons of deals with. I don't know. You mentioned Starbucks and anyone that you do a lot of business
names
with?
just like that. Starbucks, 7-Eleven. We have a really close relationship with them.
Okay.
Smashburger back in the day.
Yeah.
Taco John's a little bit back in the day. Walgreens has a new format that they're rolling out, and we're working closely and
cool.
keeping our thumb on that to make sure we can assist in that in any way that we can within the region. Verizon Wireless, just groups like that. It's a phrase that is often, I thought we invented it, but I think it's overused now, but Amazon proof. And so that's the idea. I mean, anything retail these days, that has to be a consideration.
Yeah, very cool. I bet, but that keeps you busy. How big is the, you do that under Cactus or?
Correct.
Okay, how big is like the development team that you're basically, working with on a daily basis?
Yeah, we keep it lean.
Okay.
We probably deliver between 8 and 10 projects every year.
Wow.
But a lot of the team is outsourced in real estate, as you know, and as everybody who's in that industry knows, you can outsource most of it. Obviously, architects, legal, all of that stuff is outsourced, and so we're able to keep it a pretty lean team. So we have about 6 folks that devote their time to the projects under the Cactus Land Company umbrella.
Okay.
And again, that's just the retail regionally. So.
Yeah, the retail piece. I mean, at least any project we've been involved in, it's always best to build the team that makes the most sense for that particular project.
Yep.
So that's kind of what you're getting at, sounds like. So.
Yep,
very
definitely.
Cool. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. You want to talk about kind of Denver Active 2030 and what you're focused on the philanthropic side? Yeah.
I spend on the extracurriculars, dialing it back, probably too much time with organizations and charities, but one is very special to me, Denver Active 2030. It's a group of 100 guys that throw basically 4 key events every year. The Denver Polo Classic, being the flagship, took place at the end of June. The obligatory golf tournament that was very successful this year. A barn party, which is in the fall, coming up actually September 28th.
September 28th?
Yep.
And how can people get tickets to that? Find info?
Yeah, da2030.org. And you can go on there and buy your tickets. Chris Jansen is the act this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always, food and drink included, awesome music, and the people are great. So I highly suggest that event. That's the third event that we throw through the organization. And
I've been there several times
Yep.
throughout the years, and it's a blast. So,
Yep. And it was in the spring. This year will be the first year it's in the fall, and going forward it will be in the fall.
Oh, cool.
But again, the barn parties, it's a heck of a good time. So the fourth event is Christmas for Kids, just a Christmas fundraising event. By way of all four of those, we raise about $1.5 million a year in grantable funds, and so we're a granting charity. So we raise those funds to grant out to other local children's charities that apply. We're about 150 applicants on an annual basis, and we're able to usually facilitate funding or grants for about 60 to 70 of those.
That's incredible.
So that's kind of the mission of the group, but it's very special. And I think that they're improving every single year. So
how many? You may have just said this. How many charities does that $1.5 million service or feed?
Yeah, 60 to 70.
60 to 70.
Yeah,
okay.
There's some groups get larger check sizes, and those are sort of the long-term partners like Denver Kids and ACE scholarships. I'm sure everybody's heard of at least those two.
Oh yeah.
And then some smaller checks to the other groups that in some cases are multi-year grants, and in other cases brand new to the organization. So I think the most unique component of the group is that we go through a grant review process. Again, there's 100 guys, 100 members within Denver Active 2030. Everybody gets one or two grants that they review the application, audit the financials, meet with the executive director, and determine themselves whether or not we should fund them, and if so, for how much. So that's kind of that's what allows, that's what our donors get excited about, that we're not just cutting checks blindly. We're actually going through, and there's a bit of a process involved in making sure that the funds go to the best organizations and that they're best used.
That are having the biggest impact.
Correct,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually served on a charity board for, I think, 6 or 7 years, Metro Denver Partners. I think the parent organization's Partners Mentoring Youth.
Uh-huh.
And about halfway through that is when we partnered with DA 2030.
Yep.
And so I became intimately involved in or knowledgeable about your process, and it is very methodical.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, it's very intentional. So
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's great.
Totally. Yep.
Anything else that you're, I know that you actually you're one of the leaders of that organization. You spend tons of time on that. Anything else that you're involved in on the philanthropic side?
Yeah, I went to school at the University of Denver. I'm involved in a couple of capacities over there. I just think that they're at an integral point in their tenure that they will be graduating into. They're already a very prominent organization, the University of Denver, but I think because of a lot of reasons, they will be kind of coming into the national spotlight within the next 5 to 10 years. So staying close to that. Otherwise, the National Western Stock Show is near and dear to my heart, and they have obviously a massive transformation going on over there. I keep very close to that and have a lot of good friends over there.
Are you guys involved in kind of the future planning of what they're doing there?
Not necessarily.
Kind of the development or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge project, and the executive director of the project under the mayor's office will tell you that the easiest thing that they'll do is build buildings over there.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It's like some of the best real estate you could possibly have nationally, probably.
Yeah. So the tough part is getting, and they didn't, from my knowledge, and I don't speak on their behalf, but so they haven't yet to use eminent domain or anything for any of the acquisitions, and so they're still working through that and some of the design and through the partnerships.
Okay.
Which there are a number of partnerships and stakeholders involved, including Colorado State University. So once that's buttoned up, I think, and you see that they've put a shovel in the ground over there, it'll be really exciting for the city.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, they did a lot of eminent domain for the I-70 project, which for those that don't know, that are listening, they're I-70 through from I-25 all the way over to Colorado Boulevard or something like that is going to be buried. And then they're going to be developing green space and other things on top of, just to kind of, make that the entry into downtown Denver, which will be kind of Brighton Boulevard and Rhino.
Yeah.
That much more appealing.
Yeah. It's definitely a hot button issue for some folks because of the capital that's allocated for that.
Right.
But I like the idea. I think I-70 is dated and needs to be updated, and I think connecting those two neighborhoods on either side of I-70 by way of green space, like you said, I think it's a great idea. So.
I do too, yeah. And then the land that we're talking about for the National Western Stock Show is basically right there, right? It's like Brighton Boulevard and I-70 right there. So
yep, exactly.
Killer location for whatever that looks like in the future. I can't wait to see that.
Yep.
How far out do you think that is? 10 years?
I would have no idea. Yeah, city projects. Yeah. You look at what's going on at the airport right now, and I think they've paused some of the construction because of litigation. So that stuff's inevitable, I suppose. It's very unfortunate, but so delays are imminent, and so we'll just kind of see how it all goes. But at least it's working. So
yeah, exactly. That's one cool thing about Denver, I think, is that there's just constant change, and people are just continuing to move here. There's so much energy. There's so much entrepreneurial and business energy. A lot of people that are moving here are educated, which means that companies want to be here to recruit that top talent that we're attracting because of our way of life here and the playground that we have in our backyards, the mountains and stuff like that, and the skiing. So
totally,
it's a big part of the reason why I love Denver so much. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So want to jump into kind of just some maybe rapid fire personal questions so we can kind of get to know you a little bit better. So some of them. So off the top of your head, first thing that comes to mind. Who are your heroes or hero? Who do you super look up to?
Yeah, immediately a couple presidents come to mind, but Ronald Reagan. I look at today's political climate, and I don't understand how anybody could put themselves in that position to be in the spotlight and be ridiculed, and statistically have half the country hate them. And we're asking the brightest folks out there to put themselves in that position, and it's not because of money, it's not because of any other reason other than they hopefully care, and it is truly a public service. And so anyways, Ronald Reagan's up there with the best, just and he was widely loved, so that's maybe not a good example, but we do need strong leadership in those roles, at the national level and locally. Local politics is huge. Statewide and here within the city of Denver. But
do you have any aspirations for politics in your future?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, the short answer would be yes, but the what you could extrapolate from what I said earlier, it's just for somebody to put themselves in a position where they are consistently ridiculed for XYZ reason it's a really tall ask.
Oh yeah.
And it's really tough for us to seek and achieve that type of leadership from strong folks, with that being the caveat. So That's great. What is your any favorite technology that you use on a daily basis or anything like that? I mean, probably just like everybody, my iPhone. I live and die by it. We don't really use. We're all Apple within our companies, and but nothing really specific comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that we ask that question a lot on the show, and the cell phone is typically the common answer. So,
yeah. I mean, there's a variety of apps that I could list off that most of our team use within the companies, and just efficiency is key, and making life easier is key. Playing smarter working smarter, not harder, is definitely a focus for us.
That actually made me think of another question here. With all of the ventures that you guys have going on, the restaurant bars, the real estate, whatever else your other family members are involved in, is there any platform that you guys utilize so that is like an all hands communication tool or anything like that that's really useful?
Not necessarily. I would say that, some folks, at least with the family, have been there for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
And, new team members coming on every day within the different companies. So communication will always need to be diverse. Phone calls, in-person meetings, email. We try to stay away from email and at least teach everybody how to write an appropriate email, bullet points, and anything that's over 2 sentences long should be a phone call or something easier, just because I think email is a huge time suck, really.
Yeah.
And it takes you away from getting actual work done, working in spreadsheets or whatever it is that you should be doing. So we do focus a little bit on that within our companies, just making sure that there's effective communication, but it will always have to be diverse.
Yeah. It seems like voicemail is a big time suck, too. I see more and more people are just not setting their voicemails up.
Yeah.
And
100%.
It's more of a text me or try me again later.
Yeah. I mean, we use within one of our operating businesses, WhatsApp.
Oh my God, I love that app.
And you record what you're saying, so it might as well be a voicemail, but you don't have to go in and delete it or whatever. It's just so that's been a huge help, and for our managers and some folks, it's really helpful.
Yeah, that's great. Like voice memos that you just send.
Yeah. To a group or to a person. Yeah.
And I've actually been to like marketing seminars or sales seminars where a lot of the gurus in that space will say a quick voice memo to a client as opposed to an email or even a written card, like a voice memo just saying, hey, thinking about you, hope you're doing well, let me know if you need anything from me, actually is much more thoughtful and effective than a lot of the other things.
Totally.
So,
Totally.
Try to do that every so often. Mm-hmm. So, any favorite quotes that come to mind or kind of themes in your world?
Yeah, I just was asked this question, so I do have an answer. But I think sort of a quote, and there's many variations of it that I've always. And I'll give two variations, but something that I've always kept back in mind is be the person you'd like to meet, and the other variation being be the person that you needed as a child. And so both of those, I think, make you think about your actions in a different way, a little more holistic. At a high level, those are two that I kind of keep in mind every single day.
That's cool. I have not heard be the person that you needed as a child. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks for sharing those. That's incredible. Last question. What's your kind of favorite way to unwind? What do you spend a lot of your time on, when you're actually not doing work and philanthropic things?
Yeah, it's funny. I was also asked a similar question, and everybody in Colorado is a big skier or snowboarder, and I've kind of gotten away from that, mostly because of traffic, and it's no longer a day trip here or a quick weekend trip there. It just doesn't work out that way. But we were talking about what gets you to feel like you're in the moment. For a lot of people, it is skiing or surfing or mountain climbing or skydiving. For me, it's kind of goofy, and it might sound silly, but it is a little bit just sitting in front of my computer and checking tasks off my to-do list or deleting an email. That really does get me in the moment. Outside of working, I grew up on a lake. I love being on the water, and so up in Greeley, we still have the home that I grew up in. So I'll go up there at any chance that I get to and get on the water a little bit. That's always a nice getaway.
Nice. So you guys are that house is on a lake?
Correct. Yeah.
And that's where you grew up. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you must be an incredible water skier and
wakeboarder,
wakeboarder, all that.
I'm usually the driver.
Okay.
But just being out there is all that I need. So it's the best.
That is very cool. I grew up, I guess it was a river technically, the Kankakee River in Illinois. Mm-hmm. And we had a boat way back then. And I remember my dad, big slalom skier. So he'd just be out there on one ski, just ripping jumps and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But we were tiny. Me and my three brothers were tiny. So we weren't big enough to learn that stuff yet. But I think he probably put me on his skis like with him a couple times.
Yep.
Until we, fell into the water or whatever. But yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah.
So
I think
great.
Aside from that, travel. I mean, if funds were unlimited, I think I'd be spending most of my time traveling. Just because going back to the iPhone or your mobile device, I think you can work, especially in our industries, remotely for most of it. And
so true.
Traveling is a huge passion, and again, if I could do more of it, I would. And I always told myself before I'm 40, might try to take a year and live someplace else. But I think that those are the kind of things that both broaden your mind. There's a couple of things that really do broaden one's mind, and travel being one of them, reading a book being another. Just a couple things that just really huge passions of mine.
That's great.
Yeah.
What's the coolest place you've traveled outside of the U.S.?
Yeah, interesting. I would say one of the most unique, Cuba is an obvious one. It was a bucket list item for me, and I snuck away last year with a buddy, and for a number of reasons, very unique, but awesome culture, good food, good people. Highly recommend it to anybody who has interest, especially before things change, which might not happen as soon as people think, because it's a very archaic society, and they're still within their political party very slow-moving and old-fashioned. So really interesting and awesome to kind of learn and speak to the locals and stuff. So Cuba definitely is up there.
They have good mojitos and cigars too.
That helps. They do, yeah. That they do. Yep. They happen to make the rum and the cigars just down the street there. So.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. I've been to Little Havana in Miami. That's pretty.
It's
cool.
Probably not too far off.
Probably not. And then last question, I promise. It just prompted hearing what you said earlier. If you did move somewhere for that year, do you know where that would be?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would want it to be someplace where I'd have to maybe learn the language, and there's not any other English speakers.
Oh, wow. To dive right in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It just kind of hopefully an uncomfortable situation that, again, broadens the mind a little bit. So whether that's South America or some part of Eastern Europe or Italy or something would definitely be of interest for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Travel's a huge passion of mine too. So
yeah,
always love learning about that and hearing about it. So, well, that's great. I very much appreciate your time. The vision or the intention of this podcast is to build a thriving business community based in generous leadership and authentic connections. And you encapsulate both of those things. Thank you very much for your generous leadership today.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Enjoyed learning more about you. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing what's next for you.
All right.
Oh, and before I forget, how if somebody wants to follow kind of what you're up to, what's the best way for somebody to keep track and reach you?
We usually keep, we're not completely on social media, or at least not very regularly as far as the companies are concerned, but our website, monfortcompanies.com, we usually update some of our projects on the real estate front or any operating businesses we're involved with there, and a little bit personally on my stuff. So
okay, monfortcompanies.com, MONFORT companies.com.
You got it.
Perfect. All right, thanks.
Awesome.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, thank you.